Good morning, boys and girls. Lesson 127 today is about using a scale to find distance on a map. Now, it's not the same as a scale that you weigh yourself on or you weigh the fruit at the grocery store on, but a scale on a map. And a scale on a map looks like this, right up here. And on that scale, it will tell us how many miles stands for each inch on the scale. Now, we also can use centimeters for our scale on a map, but this particular one uses inches. So let's take a close look at it and see how it works. It says right here that every inch, 1 inch, equals 200 miles. So you can see that if you measure this with your ruler, that inch right here equals 200 miles. So you take your ruler over to the map and you see, well, what are they asking me to find the distance from? They're asking me to find the distance from Hartford to Dover. Now, I don't have a map showing Hartford and Dover. I have a line that I could connect those cities on the map if I had the actual map. So here's the line right here from Hartford to Dover. So what we do is we take our ruler and we measure that distance. And when we measure that distance, we will see that it is 2 inches from Hartford to Dover. So let's look back over here. 1 inch equals 200. So that would be 200 for 1 inch, plus another 200 for the second inch. 200 plus 200 equals 400 miles. We can put MI for miles. Now let's take a look at the distance from Dover to Richmond. And Dover to Richmond on our map, let's draw that with red, is from here to here. And we would just connect those dots where the cities were on a real map and draw a straight line from each city to the other to see how far it is. Now we can measure that and we can see that from Dover to Richmond is 1 inch. Well, we know from our scale over here that 1 inch equals 200 miles. So this is an easy problem, right? From Dover to Richmond is 200 miles. Great job. Now, let's go to our second scale right here, and let's check it out. And we always have to check the scale. Now, it looks like this one's the same, isn't it? It says 1 inch equals 200 miles. So that's the same scale. Now, if we had our map and we were going to measure from Augusta to Concord, which is what it asks us to do right here, we would see that that is only half an inch. Half an inch. So we have to go back here and check this out. So if a whole inch is 200 miles, then half an inch would be half of 200. 200 divided by 2, and we can see that right here. A whole inch would be 200, a half inch would be 100 miles. So we're going to write our answer, 100 miles from Augusta to Concord. Now let's do Concord to Harrisburg. Let's do that with blue. From Concord to Harrisburg, if we measure that, would be 2 inches. Now remember, that's just like up above. 1 inch was 200 miles. We see that over here. 2 inches would be another 200 miles. 200 plus 200. So we can go back over here. We can write our answer for Concord to Harrisburg, which equals 400 miles. Now let's go on to the next one. Our next one, let's check our scale quickly. It says 1 inch equals 20 miles. So this is very different. A lot less miles are covered if you go 1 inch on your map. So let's take a look at what we're asked. It says use the scale to find the distance from Martinsville to Danville. Let's mark that in green on our little line here. From Martinsville to Danville on our map, when we measure it with our ruler, it's going to be, guess what? 1 1/2 inches. Well, that's a little more complicated to figure out, isn't it? So let's see. 1 inch would be about let's say right about here. That's 1 inch. So we go back to our scale and we see 1 inch equals 20 miles. So I'm going to write 20 there because that's about 1 inch. Now from this 1 inch mark that I made to Danville, that's the other ½ inch. So I'm going to write that, ½ an inch right there. Now from ½ an inch we can see half of 20. We have to do 20 divided by 2 to get half of 20. Half of 20 would be 10. And we can see that here on our scale, right? If the whole inch is 20 and then we erase half of it is only 10. So we see that from Martinsville to Danville is going to be 20 plus 10. 20 plus 10 is 30 miles. Okay, let's take a look at our very last one. This is an interesting scale because it uses centimeters. So we have to use the centimeter side of our ruler. It says 1 centimeter equals 10 miles. Now let's figure out what we're asked for. I've written down 2 other problems. Our first problem says, find the distance with the scale, using the scale, find the distance from Tyler to Morse. Well, let's draw a green line all the way from Tyler to Morse. There we go. Now, if we measure that with the centimeter side of our ruler, we're going to see that it is 3 centimeters. I almost wrote millimeters. I meant to write centimeters. 3 centimeters. So if 1 centimeter is 10, 2 centimeters is 10 more, and 3 centimeters is 10 more. So we can see that our answer would be 30 miles. Each centimeter is 10 miles. Now let's go back and see, let's erase this so we can see the other cities that are asked for. Now we're going to be asked for Tyler to Oakdale. Let's use red for that. Tyler to Oakdale. And then if we measure that with our centimeter side of the ruler, we'll see that it's 2 centimeters. Well, we know 10 centimeters plus 10 more centimeters, right? For the 2, that would be 10 plus 10 is 20 miles. Now our last one, let's do that with a different color. Let's use yellow. We're asked to say how far it is from Oakdale to Morse. That's very small. If we measure that, we see that it is only 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. And we see on our scale here that 1 centimeter is 10 miles. So that's an easy answer, isn't it? So from Oakdale to Morse is 10 miles. So boys and girls, you're going to see these on your homework. I picked these problems directly from your homework. One of them was from a test, I think, so you probably won't see it, but you'll be familiar with these when you see them. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope you understand a little bit more about using a scale on a map to find actual distances. God bless you, boys and girls. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.